Hey, what's good, Marvel fans? Are you ready for a new hierarchy of power in the MCU? Well, buckle up and let's talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone? And welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my Disney Plus series review for Loki, episodes 1 and 2. Absolutely no spoilers. If this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me that thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, guys, if you've seen me before, if you know me, you know my two most favorite things are martial arts entertainment and comic book adaptations. And with this being a Disney Plus Loki series, it fits right into that mold. Now, just the day before yesterday, I posted online my 2-minute social media reaction of how I felt about the first 2 episodes. And I really couldn't say much then, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail now. And I'm not going to spoil anything, only talking about the first 2 episodes. But guys, I'll just go ahead and say right now that I absolutely loved everything that I've seen in these first 2 episodes of the Loki series on Disney Plus, and I think you will too. I mean, it's dang near perfect, and it's very, very close, like 97, 98, 99% perfect for me. And I want to let you know, my expectations were not the highest. They were not low either. I'm looking forward to everything that's coming in the MCU, and Loki was kind of in the middle. I mean, I liked 2012, the Avengers film, but you know, one of my little nitpicks about that was I kind of thought that Loki, while he was an interesting and fun character, I thought his motivations were kind of weak. That's kind of how I felt back in 2012. But as we got to see Loki develop over the years in The Dark World and Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity War, we got to see more and more of his character, and I loved him more and more. And I love his character even that much more in this Loki series because it focuses on him. You know, I mean, he is one of my favorite, and arguably that is the case universally around the fandom, around the comic book lore of all of this good stuff that we're getting at home and on television and stuff like that. But to like a character so much and to just take that up another level is really dope. And I'm really, really happy with what Marvel, Kevin Feige, MCU, all the people are doing over there at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, as far as the director is concerned, it is Kate Herron, somebody that I'm not too familiar with, but if you go over to the IMDb, you see that, you know, they did all 6 episodes, Daybreak, Sex Education, Halloween, comedy shorts, and I haven't seen any of those right there, but I just have to tell you right now, guys, this is a lady right here. She did a phenomenal job, and I'm looking forward to everything that she does have to come in the future. Even though it hasn't been announced yet, she does have a true talent. And what's also nice is we have this gentleman by the name of Michael Waldron, who is the writer of Loki, Rick and Morty, a show that I do not watch, but I've heard good things about. But he's also the writer for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which comes out next year in 2022. And I'm really, really excited because if he is behind this Loki series writing all this good material that we got into the first episodes, and he's also the writer for Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, that was going to be directed by Scott Derrickson, but he walked away, and now Sam Raimi is coming in. I'm super duper excited because we have a great director, great writer that is handling the Loki series, and this writer is attached to Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. I mean, guys, it's seriously, these first 2 episodes is dang near perfect. Like I said, the only thing that I don't even want to go as far as saying that I didn't like it, just kind of raised my eyebrow a little bit, made a question mark pop over my head, is in, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but in episode 1, there was a brief line of dialogue that Loki said, and I was like, wait a minute, how did you know that? Other than that, guys, everything is perfect. Everything is flawless. And when it comes to these comic book adaptations and stuff like that, you know, I want the good story and the good adventures and all the good characters and stuff like that. But one of the main things I'm going in is I want to see the action. I want to see the powers, the displays of the abilities. I want to see somebody getting their ass kicked. And that's really not the case in these first 2 episodes, and that's okay. That's not a gripe. Everything else is just so darn good that it makes this up for that. And whether it comes in episodes 3, 4, 5, or 6, or doesn't come at all, I'm just still so entertained with what we have so far. Now, we know that in Endgame, if you've seen that, and I will talk about spoilers for Endgame, you know that they went back in time to 2012, and then we saw Loki pick up the Tesseract when the Avengers tried to go back and get the Infinity Stones. Not spoiling anything except for this point right here. That's exactly where this series starts off, and it's just great. I mean, it's seamless. It's perfect. I couldn't think of anything better myself. Hence, that's probably why I'm on YouTube and I'm not working for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I just thought that was absolutely perfect right there. And one of the things that I really like about these first 2 episodes so far is, casual fans, after they saw Avengers Endgame, I heard a couple of them like, oh man, we just got done witnessing Thanos wipe out half of the universe, the Infinity Stones. Those are the most powerful MacGuffins in the whole universe, or possibly the multiverse. Where can you go after that? As soon as this Loki series starts, it answers that question. I mean, it just opens the door to so much more storytelling that you can tell in any universe, the multiverse, the omniverse, or whatever. I mean, there is truly, if you thought Thanos was a badass, there is so much more to come in the future. And we knew that. Of course we knew that. If you're a Marvel head, you know about death and eternity and infinity and Galactus and the one above all and the living tribunal, and not the Phoenix Force, which is going to be coming in X-Men. But this is the actual first time that we get to see them tiptoeing in those areas of entertainment. Now, again, I'm not spoiling anything here. I'm not saying that there is a big character cameo that does pop up in episodes 1 and 2, and they're more powerful than Thanos. I'm not saying that at all. I don't want to mislead you. All I'm saying is that, this does definitely open up the door and expands the universe or the multiverse for so much more storytelling, so much more adventures and mysteries and suspense and threats. And I'm here for it, guys. I am here for it. I am super duper excited because I loved all of this. And another great thing about this that I talked about the start of this. I also like the characters. Loki, we get to see a side of him that we've never seen before. And I knew that Tom Hiddleston can act as Loki, but he just takes it up to the next level. If you know the Loki character, he's arrogant, he's obnoxious, he can be a jerk and sometimes have a stick up his behind. But one of the things that and you do get bits of that in this series right here. So you get to know the Loki that you know before, but again, you get to see so much more of his character. And for him to have all those negative characteristics, one of the things that really impressed me about his performance is, for a character to be so arrogant, he really was humbled, in this episode, especially in episode 1. And then when you have the great score, and I didn't look up who composed it, that's behind it to complement his great acting scenes. It's like perfect entertainment, like Emmy worthy, if you want to go ahead and say that, I will. It was just great to see Tom Hiddleston, his character develop even more and more, since we've been knowing him since, when did Thor come out? 2013. And also the character of Owen Wilson playing Agent Mobius. I'm a big fan of Owen Wilson. He's very funny to me. I'm not going to say that I'm just a diehard fan, but every time I see him on screen, I am very, very entertained. And one of the things that's just great about the show is the back and forth, the banter between these two characters, because they're different, but at the same time, they do complement each other, and it does make for good comedy. It does make for good company, and you're just enjoying yourself watching them to go together. Now, also something else that I'm really fascinated about is Gugu and Bathura, and also Wumi Masuku. These two characters right here, 2 black women. Gugu is British. I can't remember where Wumi is from, but Gugu and Bathura, she was in Belle, Beyond the Lights, and Miss Sloan, and she did a great job in both those, all 3 of those films. And Wumi Mosaku, she was also in Lovecraft Country and also His House. Now, I haven't seen His House, and I've heard some mixed things about that, but I have seen Lovecraft Country. She did a great job in Lovecraft Country, and then she does even a better job in this, as well as Gugu and Bathura. And also, the reason why I'm bringing up these 2 characters is they do have vital roles, pivotal roles in this series. They have a lot of screen presence, and while the performances are great, I'm just so happy to see, as a black man, we get these 2 black women, these 2 black sisters that not only are in the show that have a lot of screen time, but they have authority. And in a lot of cases, they are the boss. They are running the show. They are some like supervisors, managers, and I don't want to go any further and spoil it for you, but I was just like, oh, y'all are telling people what to do? Y'all are telling white men what to do, and they're looking up to you? And it was also kind of meta because there was a line of dialogue, and I don't want to say who it's from, and I don't even want to set the line of dialogue because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I was just like, okay, Marvel, I see what you're doing here. I appreciate it. It wasn't forced or anything like that. It wasn't shoehorned in. It fit naturally, which is great because, of course, I care about representation and all that stuff. I mean, I really do, but I don't want you to treat me like I'm five. I want it to happen naturally and organically, and it did happen naturally and organically, and I loved everything about that. Something else that I love is just like the aesthetic, the set design, and just the way it looked. The cinematography is great. I love the world that we're in right now, and these timekeepers, the time variance authority, and just that, like I said, the set design, because it's designed as like the technology that they use in the show to get everything done. It is advanced technology as far as what it can do, but also it's grounded in like a 60s or 70s type of technology and the way it looks. And I like that because while we're in the MCU, we're about 23, 24 movies deep in. This is the third Disney Plus show, and we've seen what it looks like on Asgard. We've seen what it looks like in Wakanda. We've seen what some civilizations look like in Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. And also in Miss Marvel, these cities and they look futuristic and stuff like that. But you can only design it so much, but until everything starts looking the same. But with this Loki series right here, they bring it back and they ground it to a world that, I was born in the early 80s, so I wasn't born in the 60s or 70s, but people that are older than me, they were going to be reminded of the technology, the doorknobs, the light fixtures, the tiles on the floor, the wallpaper, the computer monitors, etc. That is something that people are used to, so it makes this series much more grounded, and you can attach yourself to it, and it just makes it seem that much more tangible. But at the same time, it does, give you that futuristic technology as well. I love all the weapons that they have in this and all of the gadgets. I think that's great as well. This is very, episodes 1 and 2. Like I said, I've seen both of them, but you can easily distinguish between the two of them. Episode 1 is just kind of like the intro. There's exposition dumps everywhere, but it's natural. It's good exposition. That just kind of explains to you what's going on, where are we right now in the world, in the universe, in the multiverse, in existence, and like in the timeline. And it just kind of explains it to you, and I like that. And I like the way it's broken down. It's very entertaining. They use some nice animated fixtures to get their job across or accomplish their job. We got this little character, Miss Minute, who is a sentient clock walking around that can move her arms and stuff like that. That's cool too. I like all that. It's really, really clever. Now, as far as episode 2 is concerned, that is more of like an adventure, like you're already interested in part 1, just kind of learning the world and learning how things work and all the rules and regulations and things like that. But this episode 2 takes it up a notch, and that's more of a word, the adventure, the story, the plot, the suspense, the thrills begin, to where you're trying to figure out all these pieces of the puzzle. Like, okay, who is pulling all the strings? Who is actually more powerful, And at the very beginning of this review, I said there is a new hierarchy of power. And of course, I'm not going to spoil anything. And that is just the case. People that live in the normal universe that, we know and love in the MCU, they may not be able to do everything that they can do in the time variance authority world. Those people may have more control over them there. But at the same time, if the time variance authority comes to Earth or the universe as we know it, you know what I'm saying? They may not be more equipped. So as far as who is more strong and powerful and stuff like that, it really just depends on where you are in existence in the multiverse. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my apartment townhome right now. I'm going to be more comfortable here and more agile and be able to, adapt to my surroundings in case if I go over a stranger's house and vice versa. And I just kind of like that right there, because I mean, you really just don't know who is the most powerful or whatever, or what entities as far as everything is concerned when you're introduced to this new world. And man, I just want to talk some more, just some about the details, but I really just don't want to, I really don't want to spoil it for you. And I'll also like at the very beginning, why it seems like this is just going to be a fun adventure. There are some things that kind of happen at the very beginning of episode 1 to where you're like, oh snap. You know, we can't be playing around. This is serious right here. You know what I'm saying? And that also kind of goes into like how I was talking about earlier of how like Loki is more humble. And I also love the questions of morality that this show raises, you know, as far as, you know, what is the meaning of life? You know, what is the point? You know, what is the end game? And I'm not trying to talk about the movie that came out in 2019, because it also just talks about like dictatorship and also like free will, you know, because this has to do with time, and I don't want to spoil anything for you. I know I keep saying that, but it just really raises the question. And as I was watching this, I was just saying to myself, I mean, we all know this, and we've heard professors and doctors and scientists and just experts talk about this all the time, that, you know, we as human beings, we have to realize that in existence, there is just some things that we are just not going to fundamentally understand. It is just beyond our comprehension. And, you know, existence is chaos, and all we're trying to do is make the most sense of it that we can, and we probably never will. Those are some of the main theme lines in this series so far that we're seeing. Guys, I'm eating it all up. You know, I got my philosophical brain just going a million miles a minute right now, and I'm just like, man, this is just like really clever. And it's just so exciting watching this, just saying like, wow, we thought we've seen something so far in the MCU, but we have not seen anything yet as far as storytelling. I mean, the sky's the limit, man. The universe is the limit of how far they can go. And I am just thrilled to the utmost degree. I really, really am. So again, guys, I love the start of these 2 episodes right here. I love the characters and the banter between them. I love the exploration, the suspense, the adventure, the whole world building, the questions that it raises, just the performances, the score, the set design, the cinematography, the sound. I loved everything about this, guys. The only thing I said I didn't like was that one, and it's just like a little nitpick, is that one line of dialogue at the beginning from Loki. And you know, they may try to explain it later on, but even if they don't, I don't care. But so far, and this is not hyperbole, guys. It's really not. But so far, this thing is perfect. I mean, it is dang near a cinematic masterpiece, and like I absolutely loved it. I really did. I really did. And also, just one quick thing, like, you know, the director of this, Karen Hudson, said that this is based off of the Teletubbies from 2017 or 1997. I can't remember exactly the dates, but I just thought that was weird. And one of the other things that I was saying that I liked is just the back and forth between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston. Is Owen Wilson said instead of trying to prepare himself and read the comics, he just had Tom Hiddleston explain the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe to him, and that really did work. It really did work on screen, and my goodness, I cannot wait to see episode 3. I cannot wait for everybody to see this so we can just talk about it more and just geek out more and more and more. And as far as my rating is concerned, I'll go ahead and give that at the end. And that is just my opinion. If you would like to see my video on the Conjuring 3 review, you can go ahead and click right here. If you want to see my movie review for A Quiet Place 2, you can click right here. And if you want to see the latest episode of my Movie News Roundup show, where I talk about all the movie news in the entertainment world, you can go ahead and click right here. I'll give my rating at the very end, guys. And I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and if I had to rate the Loki series episodes 1 and 2 out of a 1 out of 10, I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. Yes, a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Peace.